And hold on to the handrail, YouTube. The Jago Mover is now departing for the next video.
In a previous video, I described all the public transportation in Somerset County and Hunterdon County, New Jersey. If you haven't seen that video and you aren't familiar with this region of the state, be sure to check it out, because today's video will begin to address how the transit as well as the community design can be improved to allow the public to reduce their dependence on cars.
Josh, if you wanted to improve public transportation, why don't you just close all the gas stations?
If only, sister. If only.
Well, I'm doing my history homework now.
So, I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise that closing gas stations will not be one of the suggestions I'm going to advocate for today. So, as you can imagine, I have a very long list of suggestions. But there's actually a lot that can be done in the short term with little or no money required. And, being the aspiring pragmatist that I am, today I'm counting down 10 ways to improve public transportation today in Hunterdon and Somerset County, New Jersey. Let's get started. But before this video goes any further, a reminder to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so I can continue to bring you more videos. Number 13. New Jersey Transit. Please improve the parking situation at your train stations. I have a few points I want to address. The first point is about the process of actually paying for parking, which is an inconsistent experience because the parking lots are often owned by the municipality or some other entity that isn't New Jersey Transit. Decentralized government at work, am I right? For example, at the bottom end of the spectrum is Far Hills, which is funny considering it's in one of the wealthiest areas in the country. You have to pay with cash, no credit or debit cards accepted, into this weird slot box. Then you have stations like Raritan, where you can pay with a credit card, but it's still a bad experience because the machine is old and prone to breakdown. Then you have Somerville, which is a good experience because the machine is new and thus works. Then you have stations like Bridgewater and Boundbrook, where you can actually bypass the machines altogether and just pay on your phone, which is I think the standard we should aim for at all train stations. The second point is about permit parking spaces. Essentially, there are two different types of parking spaces at train stations. Daily spots, which are open to anyone at any time, and permit parking spaces, which are basically rented out to people for a period of time. As shown by this pre-COVID Google Maps view of Raritan Station, this was a very popular service for 9 to 5 commuters. But guess what? It's post-COVID, and this is what the Raritan train station looks like now after the traditional morning rush is over. The daily spaces here are basically all filled up, but the permit spaces are mostly empty. In fact, I've actually missed a train, linked to the video where that happened, because all the daily spots were full and I didn't want to risk getting towed for parking in a permit spot. There are a few possible fixes to this problem. The first would be to audit each station lot on how many permit spaces they currently have versus how many are actually being rented out on average. If there is a surplus of permit spaces, convert the balance to daily spots. A second solution would be for whomever owns the parking lots to say, hey, such and such permit spots are currently not in use, so this week they are temporarily daily spots. If you do decide to do this, make sure the information is available on the station information web pages on the New Jersey Transit website, so it's clear to everyone. Number 12. This suggestion is for the Transbridge private intercity bus service. Currently, the New York to Flemington to Quakertown route doesn't allow people to get on buses coming out of New York City because all westbound stops are discharge only. In other words, even though they have a bus running between Branchburg and Doylestown, they don't allow people to say, get on the bus at Branchburg and take it somewhere like Doylestown or Quakertown. So not only is Transbridge killing potential connectivity benefits, they're essentially leaving free money on the table. I imagine this is so that all the important commuters coming home from Manhattan aren't delayed by any dwell time, but 1. Supercommuting is no longer the vibe, and 2. Based on my own experience on the Allentown Transbridge route, the amount of people boarding at stops like Branchburg would add negligible dwell time, and it would give some public transportation to a corridor, Central Jersey to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, that sorely needs it. Number 11. Again, for Transbridge lines, please add more stops at New Jersey Transit train stations so that people who are coming from Pennsylvania can get to more places in New Jersey without having to backtrack from New York. Specifically, I think the Doylestown-Branchburg services should stop at Raritan Station, and I think the Bethlehem-Clinton line should stop at Annandale Station. Again, I'm sure there would be an argument by the company that this would add too much travel time to justify, but Transbridge is a reserved seat system now, so you could just skip those stops to save time if no one is booked. Number 10. This one is for the Hunterdon County Link Bus system. Since COVID, they have not been charging fares. At least they weren't when I was riding, which admittedly was a year ago. But still, they advertise they are charging fares on their timetable. If you are losing money by not charging fares, get the public benefit out of that spending and advertise the buses are free. Plain and simple. Number 9, also for the Hunterdon County Link Bus system. While you're changing your timetables to show it's free, please show the Route 17 and 18 buses as the same route. The two routes literally serve the same long corridor. Why are they being shown as two different routes? That just makes things confusing. Number 8. Put the Hunterdon County Link Bus and Transbridge Line regional buses on Google Maps. To demonstrate why this is necessary, the Clinton Park and Ride in Clinton, New Jersey is served by both Link and Transbridge, with the Transbridge service being some of the only public transit available in Hunterdon County on the weekends. But according to Google Maps, there is no transit that calls here at all, which is just wrong. More people will use transit if stops and schedules can be found on something familiar like Google Maps. Number 7. Again for the Hunterdon County Link Bus. Reform your fixed route buses into jitney-style routes. In other words, allow people to flag down or request a stop at any point along a route. Right now, the Link Bus only allows you to get off at specific stops listed on the timetable. So if you want the bus to stop anywhere else, let alone make a stop off of the regular route, you have to call the Link Bus office and reserve it at a day before with no guarantee they will approve. What's really bad about this policy is that many routes go right past places that people would want to take transit to without any stops nearby. The most extreme example of this is the Route 23 bus, which connects Flemington and Somerville. On the return journey from Somerville's train station to Flemington, there is only one scheduled stop at Raritan Valley Community College. In between Raritan Valley Community College and Flemington, the bus passes by but doesn't stop at several key locations, including these apartment buildings, this awesome ice cream shop, and the White House train station, surrounded by a town with shops, restaurants, and housing, just to name a few. This is a very bad policy, and it makes it a huge barrier for people to use the system. Now, I imagine Link might claim that it would make their buses unreliable if the bus was liable to stop everywhere, but the buses operated by Somerset County already allow request stops, and their buses travel through much more densely populated areas than Link buses. If you want another example, look to Ulster County, New York and their KPL bus route, connecting Kingston, New York to the Poughkeepsie Metro North Station. I rode this bus on the way to ride the Catskill Mountain Railroad, and I have a video about this experience linked in the description. But the short is, the bus got to my stop ahead of schedule, and on the way, several people got on and off the bus. The dwell time at these request stops is negligible, especially if there is no fare payment. Out of all the changes I'm going to suggest here, this one would probably be the most impactful. Number 6. Next suggestion is yet again for the Link Bus. Don't worry, I promise I don't hate you. But also for the Somerset County buses. Both of yous, please create geographically accurate maps with all of your bus routes, color-coded please, so that they show which roads your buses take in between scheduled stops. This will be particularly helpful for routes that allow request stops. To demonstrate why, look at the schedule for Link Bus Route 14, connecting Flemington to Lambertville. It serves all its stops in a one-way loop. After serving the Hunterdon County Medical Center here in Flemington, it runs nearly 14 miles to Lambertville here without any scheduled stops. So for people who aren't boarding at a scheduled stop, it would be difficult to know where one could stand to flag down the bus. And a related suggestion, please update your schedules with Google Maps hyperlinks to show the exact location of each stop. Currently, finding the bus stops can be a bit of a treasure hunt. And I know, I've made a video about that too, linked here. Number 5. Going back to the tangent about bus routes only serving stops in one direction, Hunterdon County and Somerset County buses do this annoyingly often. They serve a stop going one way but don't do it going the other way. The aforementioned Link Bus Route 14 serves Ringo's northbound on its way toward Flemington, but not on its way southbound toward Lambertville. Similarly, Link Bus Route 15 serves Highbridge on its way northbound toward Hampton, but not southbound toward Flemington. In Somerset County, the Cat 1R bus serves Raritan Borough going toward New Brunswick, but not on the way back to Raritan Valley Community College. Most egregiously, though, the Cat 1R takes a completely different, much longer route between New Brunswick and Boundbrook in Franklin Township, which can add half an hour to the trip time. There's an easy fix for this, though. Just have the Cat 1R run down Easton Avenue both ways between Boundbrook and New Brunswick, and have the Dash bus, which also runs between New Brunswick and Boundbrook, take over the route via Hamilton Street. Put it another way, we'd go from something like this to this. Thank you, trusty map. It would make the Cat 1R more of an express route, with the Dash being a local route, which is, in my opinion, more logical. So, in sum, I recommend you're running your bus on the same route and making the same stops in both directions. This whole one direction thing, it just makes life so much more confusing. No, not that one direction! Number 4. The demand response services of both Hunterdon County and Somerset County should be accessible through an Uber-style app. Perhaps both agencies could use the same one, where customers can enter their origin and destination and book their trip. Someone should also be able to create their own account without having to need to call and talk with someone at the transportation offices. I think this app could also be used to allow for easier diversion requests on regular services, which could be really helpful in places with poor walking or cycling infrastructure. Number 3. Add real-time location trackers on all Somerset County and Hunterdon County Link buses, and feed the information to an online map that shows the location and on-time status of every bus in real time, which is a feature any rider who's ever waited for a bus can appreciate. This map should be accessible on your websites as well as on the aforementioned app that I suggested you make. You need only look to the Rutgers New Brunswick bus system to know how it's done. Number 2. Somerset County buses. Please make it easier to pay for your bus ride. The fare structure is thankfully not complicated, just $2 flat fare every time you board the bus. But your only option to pay is exact change, or by buying tickets with cash from the bus driver. There's a very simple solution. Join an app called Token Transit. For those who don't know, this is an app that lets people pay with their credit or debit card via their phone so they don't need to carry cash. It also makes it much easier for transit companies to sell discounted fare options like multi-ride tickets, daily, weekly, or even monthly passes. In 2023, I used the app twice to ride 2 very different transit agencies on totally opposite sides of the continent. Rome Transit in Banff, Alberta, and CT Transit in Connecticut. Both times, the app made the experience much better. Number 1. Last, but certainly not least, the township and county planning and zoning boards need to upzone around more transit stops, especially train stations, to allow for more high-density mixed-use communities. While a lot of stations thankfully already have lots of high density around them, notably Somerville, there's still a lot that can be done. For example, Bridgewater Station is right next to the Somerset Patriots baseball park and across the road from a major shopping center, but the area is bereft of any housing. I would suggest adding apartment blocks on top of the parking lots of the shopping center. The baseball parking lots have already been greenwashed, as well as these little patches of undeveloped land here and here. I may make a series of future videos discussing current transit-oriented development in this area and where I think more could be added. So that's it for today. 13 ways you can improve public transportation today in Hunterdon and Somerset County. As I said at the start of the video, I have many more recommendations to improve transit that will require more operational and capital funding, but I'll be saving this for a future video, coming hopefully this year. In the meantime, I have already recommended many of my short-term recommendations to the relevant agencies, but if you want to contact them yourself, I'll leave some links in the description. Thanks for watching.
This is the last stop for the Jago Mover today. Before leaving, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so I can provide you with more videos like this.